everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with a completely brand new series. Yes, it's turned into a series, so ignore what old Josh said in the past, which he's going to say in the future in this video, but ignore what he said in the past, because, well, today we're doing something completely brand new for the channel. It's still painting, it's not that brand new, and in fact we're running over recipes that we've done so many times in the past anyway, because today this is the first episode in a series which is kind of a video blog, I know, but this is my 20 minutes a day idea that I've been running with every day for the last 35 days. I haven't done today's yet because today is a new day where we start a new unit and I'm very excited. But for the last 35 days I have been painting some intercessors. No, I haven't been painting some intercessors. I've been painting some Sternguard. That's what I've been doing. I've been painting 5 Sternguard over the last 35 days, including basing, including decals and all that good stuff, and the rims, of course, the final victory lap. That has to be done in the hobby time. So I've been doing that for the last 35 days for 20 minutes a day to paint, kind of like how a lot of people out there have to, because this isn't your job. It's my job. So I really do sort of 16, 17 hours a day on a bad week. But this is a 20 minutes a day passion project for me. So we're painting an Ultramarines army, and we started with some Sternguard veterans, and I have finally finished the first set after 35 days. And this video shows you exactly that. Now I've had to trim the footage right down into a super fast time lapse because 35 days of 20 minutes a day, oh boy, that's a lot of minutes. Rather neatly 700 minutes exactly, and well, if we divide that by 60, it works out as 11.6 recurring hours. So I know that I can paint 5 Sternguard in a day, but I don't often have a whole day. And that's the point of this series. So I'm going to leave it to Josh of New Year's Day to explain a little bit more about the army, and then I'm going to come back and talk over the incredibly long time lapse that we have here. So sit back and enjoy this one. This is a chill out session, basically. So I hope you enjoy this one, and let me know if you want to see more episodes in this series. We've got another unit to start. It's the Victrix Honor Guard. That's where I'm going next. So I'll see you very soon. So this is the army. This is, well, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Is that right? If I counted that right? 10, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. It's 32 models, all told. We've already done 4, 5, and 6 of them. We've got the sort of big, we've got Gilliman, Calgar, Sicarius, and 3 Victrix Honor Guard with the banner of McCrag and all that good stuff. So that we've already filmed that. But here's the problem: is once you've done one Ultramarines painting video, you've technically done them all, really. And on the channel, we've also done a chaplain in the colours of the Salamanders, which is black armour with a green shoulder. We have a librarian, which is dark blue. And we've done that in the Blood Angels colours with a red shoulder. We haven't done a captain, well, this particular captain, but we have done a Terminator captain in the colours of the Blood Angels. And we've done a Terminator Ancient in the colours of the Blood Angels. So here's the problem, right? Is once, like I said, once you've done one video on a Space Marine chapter, you've technically done them all. The most varied one, of course, being Dark Angels, right? Because Dark Angels have the Raven Wing, the Death Wing, and then the Green Wing. Yeah. So there you've got a little bit more kind of leeway to do sort of slightly different things. But for the Ultramarines, blue is as blue does. The gold is all the same, blue is all the same, the red is all the same, the white is all the same, and so on and so forth. So you can take any sort of Ultramarines video that I've done and you can just transplant it onto these guys, for example. So for example, the Victrix Honor Guard with their white on the shoulders, the white is the same here as it is on these helmets. So how does one make a video out of all of this? Well, that's the big question. Instead, what we're going to be doing is making kind of more of a sort of totality of painting this entire army as a bit of a project. So we're going to be approaching this project in the same way that a lot of people have to paint their miniatures. Not like a person who does this full time, who makes videos and paints miniatures all day, every day. Instead, I'm going to be approaching this in a much more sort of natural, real-world way. We're going to be doing this army for 20 minutes a day. So I'm going to cut out 20 minutes of my time every day to do a little bit here and there for this army. And we'll see how long it takes to do that, you know. Up to the same standard as what I normally do. Sometimes I think, you know, we could try and figure out a way to paint a Space Marine in 20 minutes. But instead, I want to paint this army the way I paint, and I want to do it for 20 minutes a day and see how long it takes, basically. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then, of course, there will be a full video once it's finished that shows kind of how we painted it as well, like as a painting video. We might check in along the way, doing the occasional blog here and there. But as far as I can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units, essentially. And that kind of gives us an opportunity to roll a d10 if I had one nearby to see what it is that we actually what it is that we actually start with, or which unit it is that we actually start on. But I guess I'll just make that decision myself based on how I'm feeling. But this is what we're going to do. So, you know, wish me luck. Hello, it's me, 35 days later, Josh. I promised you I would be back. So, we started things off as we always do with Space Marines by painting in all the armour, and I put a list up there of all the contrast and all the shade paints used. So, Assaman Blue, Ultramarines Blue, Black Legion, Blood Angels Red, Skeleton Horde, Sigval Burgundy, Guilliman Flesh, Dark Angels Green, Cygor Brown and Black Templar, and of course the three shades we used are Tyran Blue, Null Noil and Reichland Flesh Shade. And, well, for those of you who've seen a bunch of my Ultramarines videos in the past, you'll already know the order of operations, you'll already know what we're doing, and you'll already know roughly where all of these colours go. Of course, the way to look at it is to check the box art out, which is easy with the Ultramarines because, you know, everything is Ultramarines and everything is got really nice pictures of which to follow along. So that's... well, it's a big plus of doing an Ultramarines army at the end of the day. It's got more support than anything else. Here's the list of paints used to take it to the next level, of course, the Contrast Plus in the Warhipster brand. Macragge Blue, Calgar Blue, Fenrisian Grey, Screaming Skull, Mephiston Red, Kislev Flesh, Korax White, White Scar, Iron Warriors and Retributor Armour. We've got Ironbreaker, Liberator Gold, Dawnstone, Administratum Grey, Grey Seer for corrections, Flayed One Flash, and of course Lamium Medium for our contrast mixes because it improves the flow and it helps the paint last longer and just makes it generally easier to apply. And the whole thing, I'm going to tell you, the whole army really has been primed in Grey Seer. And, well, as you can see, we're almost at the end of day 3, and I think it was day 3 or it was day 4 where we finally completed the Assaman Blue stage of mixing things in. It took quite a while to get all of the blue because it is the biggest, most predominant colour on all of the, you know, all of the Space Marines. So naturally, that one's going to be the one that takes the longest time in terms of getting things to battle ready, as opposed to like the highlighting stuff. And the blue, of course, also takes the crown for the thing that takes the longest to do, because for the Contrast Plus element, the Calgar Blue and the Fenrisian Grey, you've got more blue to highlight than you've got any other colour. So naturally, it's going to take the longest. So I think it's 6 or 7 days to get it all done. And normally when I'm painting, of course, it doesn't take me... well, it does take me this long, is what I've learned. It takes me this long to do all of this. But that's just kind of... well, I don't notice it when I'm doing it sort of traditionally, in terms of like when I'm not limiting myself to 20 minutes a day. And so one of the biggest challenges here was with contrast paint. Naturally, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are finishing a panel and not kind of stopping halfway through, because contrast paint being semi-translucent, or just is translucent, it doubles up the color if you take too long to apply it. So when I was doing all of the blue, for example, if I kind of got halfway through, let's say a pauldron, and then the time ran out, if I just stopped there, it would mean that I'd come back and I'd have to be really, 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 really precise and not cover over that previous bit of blue I've applied, or just finish the entire pauldron at that point and stop things there, which is what I ended up doing anyway. So we did a lot 20 minutes a day for this whole thing, But what we didn't do was sort of stick religiously to it all the time, because sometimes we went to sort of 22 minutes, and other times I stopped at sort of 18 minutes, if you see what I mean. In the end, it all worked out. I did go through and add it all up, and we did actually come in 1 minute under 700 minutes. It was like 699, which, you know, nice. But that was the that was the key takeaway for me. It was just kind of taking the things that I sort of make these videos about and all that good stuff, and just implementing that knowledge myself, but on a limited time budget. And that was a really interesting challenge for me. The other challenge, of course, as I was going through this, was just stopping. You know, I love miniature painting, and it's what I do for a living, of course, you know, with this YouTube channel, and I really enjoy it. And so this kind of disruptive nature of, I'll only have 20 minutes, so I have to stop. Of course, my appetite was satiated by all the other stuff I'm working on at the moment, which I naturally can't tell you about, but all the other stuff that was going on in the background, like what did we do this year? Well, we did like the Nightbringer and Necrosaur Amantar, and we've had the Maggotkin of Nurgle going on in the background. We've had all of that good stuff. So whilst all of that's been being worked on, of course I've been able to paint for a lot longer, but leaving these projects leaving these miniatures just not even half finished every single day was a really tough thing for me. And I feel like having now done having now done one a single unit, that feels a lot easier. So I'm actually looking forward to jumping into the next unit, which I've already mentioned it a couple of times, I think, is the Victrix Honor Guard. They should go a bit quicker, because there's only 3 of them. And what I'm really interested to know is, this took me, let's just say 700 minutes, because it took 35 days. This took 700 days to do 20 minutes a day to finish 5 Sternguard. I'm interested to know how long it's going to take to do the Victrix Honor Guard, first and foremost. I'm interested to know, because like if we take 700 and divide it by 5 and then times it by 3, is that how long it's going to take, or is it going to take longer because the cloaks are there, or anything like that? We don't have to do the banner or anything because we've already done one. So this is one of the fundamental problems with wanting to build and paint armies for the channel, as it were, because we've already done a Victrix Honor Guard video, we've already done the banner, we've already done the champion, so what else is there? So you can't just film it again and do another one. It would be the exact same video again. Anyway, I digress. So I'm interested to know how long it takes to do 3 models. They are a bit more detailed, they are a bit more interesting to look at. They do have the cloaks, of course, and all that good stuff, but they don't have a head, they don't have a heavy bolter, they don't have anything like that. So it's going to be an interesting little journey, I think, for me to see how long it takes to do them. And for the other 5 Sternguard I've got to do, there is an additional like helmet plume and stuff like that. But what I'm interested to know is whether or not, because I was filming in batches of 20 minutes, did that slow me down, or did it speed me up? So part of me wants to do the other 5 Sternguard just in one sitting and see if that also takes 700 minutes to do. Because if it does, then fantastic. But if it doesn't, then I think there's an interesting thing there. But there's another couple of things that I learned as I was going through this, and I've talked about this in the past around, you know, posture whilst you're painting and where is easiest to paint. And I paint with a top-down camera for the videos, and I don't typically film I don't film every single paintbrush and every single paint stroke. I don't film every single minute of every single video that I put out. I film roughly 30 seconds to a minute, unless it's like a long thing where we're doing lots of blending or lots of color placement that's really important to show on camera. So what I have noticed was throughout this was that as I was going along, I was painting at kind of arm's length, and that was really uncomfortable. So what you'll see later on in this video, and we're sort of approaching it now, but when it gets to like the highlighting stage with the Calgar blue and the Fenrisian grey and all that stuff, I don't generally do highlighting in that sort of crouched over position underneath the camera for everyone to see. I will do it obviously naturally on camera for sort of 30 seconds to a minute, but it doesn't need any longer than that. But doing 20 minutes of that, I tried it for like the first day and I just couldn't do it. Like, it was really uncomfortable. So again, another really important learning for me was that sitting comfortably is really important. That sounds like I've talked about that at length before, but it sounds like a sort of weird thing to suddenly be, extolling the virtues of halfway through a project like this. But it was really, really important for me. So I'd like to sit back when I'm highlighting and be kind of nice and relaxed. And I think it does now generally kind of make its way into my advice about highlighting, is to sit in the most relaxed, comfortable position you can and just take your time with it, like trying to huddle under a lamp. And I know not everybody has like what I do, which is these large sort of photography panels which I film under, which fill the kind of section that I paint in, and fill the entire area with light. So it means I can lean back in my chair. But if you're on the fence about getting a big light that fills a big area rather than a little hobby task lamp, I would 100% recommend getting the big light that kind of helps you do that thing sort of in a wider area, which means you can adjust your position, you can sit comfortably, you can lock your elbows to your body or onto your armrests and lock your wrists together and then do the highlighting, because that for me was important. And it was difficult to decide what to do when it came to the filming of that, because I was like, well, I've got to do this comfortably because I'm going to be doing this for a few hours and I don't want to give myself RSI in my highlighting wrist because I've got a channel to run, So that was one of the key important things to remember as I was going along. And now we reach that highlighting stage that I talked about. So yeah, I started under the camera, and of course later on in the video you're going to see us move to that kind of wide shot, the face cam shot. But yeah, I mean, like, this has been a refreshing project to do, and I genuinely have been thinking, like, this added a lot of context to some other stuff that we've been doing on the channel. So learning about airbrushing and stuff like that, which we haven't quite finished that video on because I'm not entirely happy with the final result just yet. So I need to go back to the drawing board on that. But that one will be on its way soon. But this really kind of put into context a lot of stuff for me. And I was kind of, as I was going through, I've talked about that it was difficult for me to just stop after 20 minutes. So I was like, well, the more realistic thing is that people might do 20 minutes a day during the week, Monday to Friday, but then the Saturday comes along and they haven't got anything on, they've done the food shop, so then they get to sit down and paint all day. So maybe I could do that, but of course that wouldn't be in the spirit of the 20 minutes a day. But it did put into perspective for me things like airbrushing. I do understand it, and I do get, like, sometimes with a lot of my videos, we're always shooting for that kind of box art sort of final finish. We're shooting for a very accurate finish to the sort of final product. That's what we're going for. And the up to battle ready standard was really quick, and I felt really good about that. And then of course the highlighting standard is the one that takes just that little bit longer to do at the end of all things. But I'm curious to know, like, or at least explore this year, if there are ways for me to figure out within my videos ways to speed things up in order to, help you guys that little bit extra when it comes to kind of, if you are somebody who could only do 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes a day, and you open up one of my videos and you think, oh, that's going to take me forever to do. Look, I get it. I 100% get it. And it's a privileged position I'm in to be able to just sort of do this all day, every day, which is, it's a wonderful thing. But at this present pace, the other thing I realized was that if we've been through 35 days and we've done 5 models, then over 350 days we'll do 50 models. And that feels like a really good chunk. That's half a company. So ultimately, in perspective over the next year, we could do a lot of models this way. And that was really cool. And of course, we are painting Space Marines as well. And I always find with Space Marines that they look nice at battle ready, but it is those highlights that really make them pop, because they've got so many hard edges, right? Like all the armor, it's got lots of hard edges. The gun in itself has got a really hard edge, and this, that, and the other. And they've also got just like metallics all over them. And I always find, like, if you're going to do a highlight on anything, it should be the metallic ones, because those are the things that really make it pop. And we saw it a little while ago in the Murder Wing video, where they look great at battle ready, but then all of that silver goes on. It's like, oh, it's a completely different model now. It just looks so much nicer and so much closer to being finished. And so, like, the metallics is the place to start. And maybe I could do with going forward in some videos is just focusing on only the highlights that are absolutely critically important. Like on these guys, I didn't highlight the Sternguard Brown. I didn't need to. It's my personal army. I just didn't feel like it. And I also didn't do things like add some Sternguard Brown text to all the parchment. Maybe I will go back and do that later once we're all finally finished. But ultimately, these are going to be playing pieces. I hope to play with this army in 11th edition. I would really love to have this whole project done by the launch of 11th edition, whenever that is. It might be July, which gives us 5 more months to do it, which we've got many more units than that to do. Like the Victrix Honor Guard, again, I think we'll have them done by the end of February. Terminators, I think, will actually take a little bit longer, because they are bigger and they are sort of, there's just a lot more to them. It's like heavy intercessors, for example. They don't feel like they're much bigger, but there's a lot more kind of edges to do, like on the back of their legs and over the top of their heads as well. There's like so it's not a psychic hood, but it kind of feels a little bit like one. That hood in it on itself is 2 or 3 layers, right? So there's more and more highlights to do on that. So those models are chunkier. They are probably going to take a little bit longer. So, and also, like, we've got characters, and characters, I know I can paint a character in a day, but maybe I should just pare back on the highlights. Maybe that's something we should look at over the next year. Let me know. That's the thing. I think the really cool thing about making a video like this is that it is open to being a conversation with all of you guys. If you're interested in this, and let's have a discussion in the comments, you know. Do all that good stuff. Comment, subscribe, like. Can't believe we've been 22 minutes in and I haven't said that. But, you know, I just want to get your feedback. I want to get your thoughts. I'm not sure I want to, like, sort of just become sort of like do lots of battle ready painting. We are going to do a little bit of that. I have actually got a really cool video idea for the 100,000 subscribers, taking us all the way back to the beginning, as it were. But we'll come to that as and when we cross that bridge. But I love the way that I paint, and I really enjoyed this eventually, despite, you know, my desire to go much faster and to do a lot more all at once. But yeah, I mean, look, it's really, really good stuff, and I can't wait to show you the final result. They look exactly as you expect them to from the sort of style of thing that we do around here. I'm going to shoot the B-roll just a second, because I'm recording the voiceover now. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's good in a blog when you run out of information, isn't it? And naturally, as we approach the finish line, Liberator Gold is the last highlight that went on. Naturally, as we always like to do, start on the bottom left boot, finish on the gold highlights. That's the sort of thing. One thing that was really good for me, actually, was in terms of like the painting side of things, is, as many of you will know, is I don't really like basing. That's something I don't really like doing. But actually having the timer and having to stick to the timer, that helped massively get through a task that I don't generally enjoy doing. And of course I then had to do the decals as well, and so I did the decals, and it's when I made my first mistake throughout all of this. Not painting mistake, but our first production mistake was I accidentally didn't record the first half of the 20 minutes that I did on day 34. I got halfway through and I was like, hold on a minute, there's nothing going on, but there we go. So I did do the rest of the decals, as you can see in that overhead view, but did our basing and did it on a timer, and it was really, really cool, and we got it done really quickly. Still took a couple of days, because of course we had to do the rims and the tufts and get all of that stuff, but I was surprised. There we have it, all done. All 5 of our Sternguard. We've got 5 more to do, of course, but 20 minutes a day, 35 days, and this is the final result. I'm really, really pleased with it. I hope you're pleased with it, or I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit more of a chilled one, and, well, we've got some proper Contrast Plus on the way for you very, very soon, but we're going to do another part of this, I'm sure. Just let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.